Welcome to Seminyak, Bali. Golden sunsets, great food, and a touch of style. That's what brought us here. In this video, we share our experience in Seminyak, what it's like, what it offers, and a sense of whether it might be the right destination for your Bali stay. And if you love to travel and want to stay up to date with the latest reviews, tips, and destination ideas, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share. We really appreciate your support. Now let's talk about getting there. Seminyak sits on Bali's southwest coast. It's a compact, lively strip of beach filled with bars, restaurants, and shops. It's only about, I'd say, 10 kilometers from the international airport. And in light traffic, that could be a 30 to 45 minute drive. Now, if you're situated somewhere a little further out, like Ubud, that 35-kilometer ride can easily run you an hour and a half or more. Now, you might have hired a guide or a driver to take you around throughout your trip. And if you didn't, no worries, you have a few options like Gojek, Bluebird, or Grab. They're the big three, and they have cars everywhere. And they'll help you navigate Bali's intense traffic maze. So quick tip, download these apps before you arrive and keep WhatsApp ready. Drivers like to communicate pickup details there. Now, just to give you an idea of cost, we checked out the Grab app for a ride from Ubud to Seminyak, and it came out to just under $17 for the trip. Not too bad. Now, if you're feeling a little more adventurous, hop on the back of a Grab bike for just under $5. Now that we got here, let's take a look at where to stay. Seminyak covers all budgets, luxury resorts and private villas right on the beach, boutique hotels a short stroll away, mid-range spots a bit further inland, and budget places a little further out. As you'd expect, the closer to the sand, the higher the price tag. We were deciding between two places, Potato Head Resort, famous for its beachfront pool and sunset parties, and the Seminyak Beach Resort and Spa, known for its elegant, peaceful vibe. We went with the Seminyak Beach Resort and Spa, and yeah, it didn't disappoint. The centerpiece of this resort has to be the amazing infinity pool with ocean view. Truly incredible. And we can't forget about the beautifully kept grounds and gardens, and plenty of spots just to sit and take it all in. Now, the rooms themselves, they were spacious and comfortable, and they really went out of their way to make it a truly special experience. But to be honest, we're in paradise. We spent most of our time outside the room, and we really enjoyed the variety at our complimentary breakfast buffet. And how can't you when you're dining al fresco surrounded by a koi pond? With a spa, restaurants, bars, and located right on the beach, I think for our choice of stays in Seminyak, we chose wisely. Now on to what most people come to Seminyak for, the beach. Seminyak's shoreline stretches for miles, with this soft golden sand and water that kind of shifts from a turquoise color to a deep blue, depending on the light. And from our resort, you could pretty much roll out of the infinity pool right onto the beach. Now, we didn't have any chairs or umbrellas right out in front. Maybe that's a resort policy, or maybe high tide would just claim them. Not too sure. I'll be honest, these beaches might not be quite as postcard perfect as some of the Caribbean's, but they can absolutely hold their own. And what they may lack in glassy, calm water, they make up for in character. A stroll down the shore takes you past rows of chairs and umbrellas for rent at reasonable prices, plus stands offering surf lessons, snacks, and of course, bloody ice-cold beer. We'll come back to this later. And every so often, you might meet a beach dog or two. Most of them are friendly and far more interested in napping in the sun than bothering you. And if you're in the mood, you could even go for a horse ride along the beach. Cowboy boots and hat, optional. Now we thought it was time to take a little walk on this sandy path behind the beach. Now, we walked quite a stretch. I'd say we walked for about 30 minutes, but we're going to wind that down to about 60 seconds so you get an idea of what they have to offer here. The path was lined with cafes, warangs, and beach clubs, as well as places to buy or rent pretty much anything you'll need for the beach. On our midday walk, things were surprisingly quiet outside. That was probably because it was blistering hot out. We were here in June, which meant temperatures pushing 90. Or 32 Celsius, if you're looking at that scale. The words for the day were hot and humid. Now, if the midday sun is getting to you, fortunately there's no shortage of spots along the way to stop, rest, grab a bite, or have a drink, whatever you're in the mood for. But for us, I think we're about done with our walk for the day. I think the heat was starting to catch up with us, so it was time to make a beeline for the beach, head straight to the ocean, and cool off for a bit. Of course, we couldn't resist a few quick photo ops first. Then it was time to suit up and do a little bodyboarding, as Lily is nice enough to demonstrate here. Renting bodyboards here is cheap and easy. The waves can be a lot of fun, somewhere between somewhat challenging to a surfer's delight. That said, be careful. The Indian Ocean can be unpredictable. You might have a calm, gentle day, and then suddenly the waves turn on you. Swimming here isn't really for beginners. As the area is known for strong currents and riptides, always keep an eye on the posted rules, and especially on the flags. Lifeguards here are great about moving them to keep you safe, and when the red flag comes out, that's your cue to take a break from the water for a while. One thing I really love about this beach is those tiny little sand crabs, making these intricate little designs in the sand. It's a simple thing, but it amuses me. And you might notice a bit of litter here and there. Unfortunately, it's a reality for many beaches in Bali, especially after storms or high tide. So if you're visiting, take your trash with you. A small effort makes a big difference for everyone. So after some time in the ocean, we claimed a spot on the beach to relax a little bit, to have a beer or four, next to a friendly beach dog. We noticed a sign behind us for cold beers and coconuts, so we grabbed a beer for under $2.50 US and a fresh coconut. Honestly, it's a combination hard to beat. Sun in your face, a frosty drink in hand, a refreshing coconut, beer, beach, coconut. This is island life, Bali style. So after a few hours on the beach, we headed to the resort, swapped swimsuits for something dry, and set off for happy hour at Potato Head Beach Club. It's one of Seminyak's most famous sunset spots, and it was only about, I'd say, a 10 to 15 minute walk from where we were staying. Now I believe if you arrive before 5 p.m., there's no cover charge, so we timed it out to get there just before. Now Potato Head isn't just a beach club. The place is a bit of a architectural statement. They built the whole place with sustainability in mind, from solar panels to zero waste kitchens, so you're not just grabbing a drink. You're stepping into one of Bali's most eco-conscious hangouts. Now, when we walked in, the place was pretty lively. I'd say it was crowded, but not too crowded. And I really liked the use of space here. The area around the pool was split into sections with a very interesting and unique design. I thought it worked well. But for us, there was only one place we were looking to go, and that was the pool. And when we first got here, the pool wasn't really that crowded, but as time went on and more drinks were consumed, it started to fill up. But before we head into the pool, let's take a look at the menu. They had an interesting variety of cocktails and non-alcoholic drinks, but be aware, in Bali, most places in the hospitality field have a government tax and service fee, which seems to vary slightly place to place. Well, now it was time to head into the pool. Fortunately, they had these free storage bins to put your stuff in before entering the pool, which was very convenient. So phone in hand, we headed to the pool bar and ordered a couple of cold ones for happy hour, and just sat back, relaxed, and enjoyed the whole Potato Head vibe. It's definitely a great place to hang out for happy hour. We highly recommend it. Now, even though we didn't stay here on this venture, the resort really did have a lot to offer, so we might have to consider it the next time we're back in Seminyak. Eventually, happy hour ended, so we strolled back along the beach, and that's when we noticed everybody just standing still, looking towards the horizon. It turns out, sunset in Seminyak is quite an event. And yeah, we get why. Every evening, the sky puts on a slightly different show. Shades of yellow, orange, and deep red, all blending into each other. We've seen a few better sunsets in our lives, but not many. We stayed for the show every night, and it was definitely worth the price of admission. But now it was time to take a little breather, rest up for the night, and start a new day fresh. Today we got up early to explore the town. For us, It was about a 10 to 15 minute walk to the center of town, but if you're not up for walking or your hotel's a bit further out, you've got options. As we mentioned earlier, there's no shortage of rideshare cars and plenty of bikes. Book a car, hop on the back of a Gojek or a Grab bike, throw on a helmet, and hold on. Now, if you need to pick up a quick snack or drink, you'll find a Circle K or an Indo-Marit convenience store almost everywhere around town. Now, if you're in town exchanging money, try to go to a bank or find a reputable dealer and count your money on the spot. Not that they're out to get you, it's just good practice. Now, the real reason we're in town today was, of course, shopping. Seminyak has plenty of choices, from flea markets to boutique storefronts. Now, we always try to shop from local business owners if we can. And one thing I should mention, the prices in Ubud were a bit better than here, so keep that in mind if you're visiting both places. And don't forget to haggle. It's kind of an art form here. Now, make sure you bring both cash and credit cards just in case. Cash is always good for negotiating, but most shops accept credit card payments these days, so if you carry both, you should be covered. Now, after spending some time at the beach, we headed back into town that night. Now, the town takes on a completely different vibe at night. On our way in, we passed resorts, hotels, restaurants, and clubs, and we always felt safe walking around at night. But like anywhere, always be aware of your surroundings. One thing I love about Seminyak are these unique business names with interesting wordplay, and they definitely amused us. My personal favorite had to be this simple sign: cheap beer and good food. Direct, honest, and as it turns out, pretty accurate. Now let's take a look at a couple of restaurants we frequented. We found ourselves at Natty's Bar and Grill more than once. They have several locations around Bali, and this one had a bit of a jungle feel with an open sky dining area. It was kind of nice, and every night we were here, they had live music. And I really do wish more places had live music. I feel like it's a bit of a dying art, and I really believe it should make a resurgence. Now to the food. Let's take a look at some of the food we ate here. Now, they had a diverse menu featuring Indonesian, Asian, and European flavors, prepared with fresh, organic, locally sourced ingredients, which is always good. The place had a nice, comfortable feel, the staff was attentive, and the prices here, I'd have to say, were pretty reasonable. And as you can see here, our seafood fried noodle dish was just under $6 US, which really isn't too bad for the portion size. And of course, to go along with our meal, we had to get a local favorite, a Bitong beer, large size please. Now let's take a look at our service charge and government tax on our bill. Service charge was 10%, government tax now was 11%. A little different than it was at Potato Head, 1% more on the government tax here. I hope that money went to the band. We highly recommend Natty's, and we definitely come back here the next time we're in Seminyak. Next up, shrimpus. Not just shrimp, but they are really good. We walked by, took a look in the window, and it was pretty crowded. So we decided to grab a table outside and enjoy a beautiful Bali night. And they had a list of specials that all looked pretty tempting. And the fact that they farm their own shrimp, that's a good sign. And they also claim to have Bali's best shrimp. We'll be the judge of that. And look at this, oysters for $1. That's in Australian dollars. For US dollars, it's about 75 cents. And the all-you-could-eat shrimp really caught my eye, but always check the terms and conditions. Now, I'd have to say that all the food we had here was pretty tasty, from the crab cakes to the shrimp, which was indeed excellent. But the verdict's still out, whether it's the best shrimp in Bali. The seared sashimi-style fish was fresh and delicious. Now let's take a look at the bill, as we've done at each place. Here, the service charge was a little bit less. I kind of like that. So if you're into seafood, shrimpus definitely has to be on your short list when traveling to Seminyak. Whether Seminyak is your last stop in Bali or not, you'll eventually have to go back to the airport, unfortunately. And with the unpredictable traffic in Bali, plan on giving yourself a little extra time to get to the airport. While arriving in Bali was a pretty seamless process. Leaving Bali, that was a different story. Between the traffic, customs, and security, it's a good idea to give yourself some extra time. Now for some final thoughts. So what's the verdict on Seminyak? For us, it ticked every box. Close to the airport, a walkable beach, great food, plenty of shopping, and a lively nightlife scene. All without needing a car, which was key. Sure, it might not be Bali's absolute best beach, but it had character, charm, and those unforgettable sunsets. It's exactly what we were looking for. For our trip, it was the perfect fit, and who knows, it might be just the spot for yours too. Hopefully this gives you a little inspiration for your next Bali getaway. Safe travels. And if you love to travel and want more honest reviews, tips, and inspiration, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to like and share. We really do appreciate the support.